So I just finished reading the Gap Cycle by Stephen R. Donaldson. By the way, this was the last sentence of the book. This is a weird thing that I do when I start reading something. I go straight to the last page and I start reading that last sentence. So that's just what I did. So this is the first time I'm trying something different. I'm no longer in my office upstairs. I'm just downstairs here in the parlor area, we could call it. It's, yeah, hard to describe actually. But here I am, trying something different with two camera angles. And yeah, different things. I'm trying something different for a change. So I don't really have any quotes that I've took for this book. I've took a lot of quotes in other books. I think the book with the more quotes is like the fourth ones. Yeah, I think it's the fourth one, so Chaos and Order. So can't wait to talk about this book because book 4 and 5 were actually my favorite. But what a start to a story. So first book in the Gap series, The Gap into Conflict, the real story. Well, to talk about the book in a really vaguely manner, it's actually, something happens in a bar and people are talking as to what exactly happened. And we get to know the real story like midway through the book. We kind of start to see what truly happened from the point of view of the people who were actually in whatever the hell happened. So essentially, two people walk in a bar, like every joke I feel like starts. But two people walk in this bar, so Mallory's bar, and you have this big, ugly, mean guy. Like he's a space pirate, but he has this really bad reputation that he's just no good. And so this guy is Angus Thermopyle. We'll see more of him, the more we read because he's one of the main characters. But he walks into this bar with that beautiful woman called Morn Highland, and she's a cop essentially. So everybody's wondering why she's with that ruthless bastard essentially. And we get to know the real story, as I said, near midway through the book. But what happens is that she escapes with this other guy, so Nick Soccorso, who's the knight in shining armor, actually, in this book. We'll get to see, in future books if he's really that nice of a guy. Spoiler alert, he's not. He might be as bad as Angus, actually. So there's a lot of trigger warning in this book. There's a lot of sexual abuse, violence towards women. And it's just, it's really awful. It could be hard for some to go through this book. So I struggled, to be honest, reading this book, but I always had that feeling that it was worth it to go through all this hell, all this pain. And it does, because the other books are there are less of these subjects, the more you read into the books. But the first book, it's kind of hard to go through it. At times it felt just too much. I felt like the abuse was just a bit too much, and maybe that helped in a weird way to go through the books, mainly because it felt like really too much, out there, too much out there. Like no human being could live through such abuse and violence done towards them. And that being said, it just goes to show just from the start how Morn is powerful. And the more you read, the more she becomes such a badass. But in book number 1, it's not that clear yet, but it's going to come a bit later. So don't worry, if you're struggling reading that book because of all the triggers, as I said, don't worry, it gets less and less the more you go through, and it has its importance to really understand Morn as a character and how she's going to evolve from that. But that's mainly the first book. So it's called The Real Story mainly because we get to know what really happened. So essentially, Angus is a torturer and he's torturing Marn. He wants to have full control over her. So I really enjoyed that aspect of abuse because it's just, how much of a coward the guy, so the perpetrator, the abuser is in this book, and he just wants to have power over this woman, but even that he cannot have that power because she's just too powerful for him. It's a really good introduction as to the brutality of this world, even if we're civilized, we're a space species in this book. We're still not really good as a species. I really enjoyed this book. It's a really good introduction in the Gap series, but it gets better from this. This is still a very, very good book, but the other ones are just slightly better. It gets better the more you read this series. So this is the first setup that I've tried. I might try different things again. This is, as I said, the parlor area. So I'm trying different things. I have 2 camera angles and all of that. My beautiful microphone. I'm trying different audio thingy, different camera angles and all of that. So let me know if that was good actually from other videos I made. But that's what I'm trying. As I said, I'm trying different things, different camera angles. I'm going to try to be more and more varied in my video presentation. So let me know if you like that. Let me know if you've read this book. It's a criminally underestimated series. It's one of my favorite book series. I might do a full-on review. I don't know yet what I'll do for the whole series, but I want to talk about each and every single book. This one is just that there's not much to talk about because it's like 200 pages or something. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed that setup. I'm going to try different things once again. So I'm going to publish 5 videos at least for the series. So 1 video per books. And then I'm going to do another video where I'll talk about the series. I don't know yet what this video is going to look like, but let me know, because this is a criminally underestimated book series. I don't think it's talked enough. We should talk more about these books because they're so good, actually. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's change stuff out. Drop the mic. But